What is up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. I am tired. It is late Wednesday night. I just got in from work. We had a big corporate buyout. Live Nation bought out our restaurant for the night and threw a big, huge company party. And so, yeah, we had to flip the whole restaurant back around and make it look normal again for service tomorrow. So I'm tired, but we're here for our alchemy message. And what that is we're just looking deeper into our spiritual lessons for the week, and we're going more into the process of what is kind of being asked of us, this week as we're approaching these lessons. It's like, what's being asked of us? What do we need to do? What's coming forward, to be evolved and transformed. And so, following suit with Monday's reading, the anchor message was pretty clear cut and straightforward. And so is our midweek message. Even though we have exactly 27 million cards, it's like really straightforward. So without further ado, let's get started. From the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck, we have pulled Dissolution, which that came up recently in the last couple of weeks. We've pulled Oleum Vitrioli, or Oil of Vitriol, which is funny. I pulled this card right after I ordered a needle replacement for my Victrola. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder if I just pulled this card because I was just thinking like Victrola. But no, it really makes sense. Bear with me. We have Benevolent Guide, or Spiritus Rector. And then underneath these three, iron and lead came out together. This is like turning into like a whole like molecular structure, this like chemical process that's happening. I love it. And so underneath, to clarify, we've got 8 of Wands, followed by 10 of Pentacles, followed by King of Pentacles. Actually, it's more like that. When I'm looking at the pictures, they're in this order. She was like going towards these characters. Awesome. Okay, so dissolution. There have been things purging out of us recently, and, it's coming in stages. It's like we wish we could all just get it all out at once. Like, why didn't it all come out during, all of the other crazy astrological, movements and lunations and during eclipse season and all of this stuff? Like, why are we still like kind of having these unexpected like emotional surges coming over us that we, that open up this can of worms, and we're like, oh, I thought I was past this. And so, this is not to be bemoaned or avoided. If we really go in and do the work now, it's going to free us up to accelerate the things that are coming into blossom in our lives. So what is being asked of us this week, following on, all of the tiredness and frustration of Thanksgiving week, and the holidays are starting to kick up, and it's all, everything's going crazy and fast and in every which direction. So people are always asking a lot of us this time of year, or there's a lot of places that we want to be. We want to be everywhere at once. And, we have a tendency to get really busy and neglect ourselves this time of year. But right now, this is the prime time of year to really reflect on the year gone by, tune inward to see where we're at now in this current moment, and get a vision, start to crystallizing for the year to come. And so part of this opportunity right now, here at the end of the year, is this emotional purge. It's like, if you guys were following me back during like Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, we were talking about how that holiday is like universally, everyone gets like a brand new soul for the year. And so, we have also been like approaching this big timeline jump that like, it's like a humanity-wide moment. And I think we imagined that it was going to be more apparent, some maybe inciting incident or something that was going to make it very clear that like, oh, this is the portal that we're crossing into this new beginning. And I don't know why we think that, because things are always like gradual and they happen in layers. Like grief, it's cyclical. It's in layers. All of our emotional processing is. We're cyclical beings. So, right now, if we had gotten our new soul and we've been trying to like embody this new self, this new perception of our new identity as our consciousness is elevating, we've been kind of practicing this, for the last couple of months, trying to overcome our old ways, trying to pause before we go, around and around in circles over and over again. And so moving forward, we're going right into Hanukkah. Hanukkah is like, it's a holiday where we get to connect with the light without doing any sacrifices or really any mitzvahs to speak of. We don't have to do any big repentance or like confess our sins to anyone. It's just about connecting with the light and bringing it all in and becoming illuminated by that and connecting with that support. And so this is sort of like an opportunity to get a soul dry cleaning, right? It's like we had our high holidays in, the end of summer, the end of, beginning of fall, and, a little bit of time goes by and, we get a little stain here and there. We have an outburst. We get tired. We get frustrated. I think, there a couple of weeks ago, the emotion that was purging forward was sorrow. Last week, it was like our hostility was presenting itself. And this week, it's all about watching out for when resentment presents. This is this lion lashing out in self-preservation, in resentment that's built up for too long, and it's like tearing into someone, right? We may have like moments where there's a part of us that wants to do that this week, but try not to. If you go back and look at Monday's message, part of the assignment was to go into the cave, right? Go into hermit mode, go into the heart and do that deep inner work. And so part of what is going to help us this week, not actually bite someone's head off and lash out in resentment and say things that we can't take back, it's like, when you can, take some time alone in solitude to decompress and to think about this and to observe, okay, what's triggering your resentment? What's making you want to bite people's heads off, right? Pay attention to that feeling when it comes up and examine and observe what it's trying to tell you. Chances are your boundaries are not healthy. And there's two things that could be happening and probably are simultaneously. We're giving too much and we are, how do I say this? We're giving too much and we're not giving enough. And we're not also not receiving enough. We're pushing away the receiving. So it's like trying to like correct that, like the pendulum just keeps overcorrecting into like vice, going into vice, going into vice. So like my Kabbalah teacher, David, said something recently that was really profound to me. And I'd never thought about it, but the more it sinks in, it's like it makes more sense. But he was saying that frustration is a sign that not that we don't have enough or not that we're not getting what we want, but we're actually getting more than what we can appreciate, which is so true. If we are frustrated and wanting more and needing more and frustrated that we don't have it, then that means that we're not in a state of appreciation and we're not fully appreciating what we have right in front of us in that moment. And if we can't appreciate what we want, what we have in that moment, then we can't bring in more to appreciate because we're not in vibrational resonance with appreciation, right? But from like in a personality standpoint, it's like if you can't appreciate what you already have, why are you going to be given more? Why do you deserve more, right? When you're not happy with what, you have in front of you, with what somebody else might appreciate, right? So, if we are frustrated, examine really where we are taking for granted, things that we have that we're not appreciating, and what we could be appreciating more. At the same time, there is an aspect of when we are resenting, it may be also coming from a place where it's out of self-preservation because we've overgiven. There's a concept called bread of shame in the Hebrew culture in Judaism, and what that means is that you've given to something or someone in a way that they haven't earned it. And so it creates this awkward tension where they don't want to receive it because it feels guilty, it feels shameful, it feels wrong, it feels like they don't deserve, like that. I'm not worthy of this. Like, I don't deserve this. Like, where did this come from? No, please, I couldn't possibly. So, like, it happens like on a spectrum, right? Small things add up over time. Big things make, an impact over time. But think about like a kid who's been like super spoiled all their life. And then they grow up angry and bitter and they're like jaded and they don't appreciate anything. And then they get like into these like self-destructive, like addictive cycles and patterns, right? That's from bread of shame. When people win the lottery, right? And they don't appreciate that money and they blow it on everything. And they also it like destroys them, it ruins them. That's bread of shame. If you are, the person that is always trying to pick up the check for all of your friends, right? If you're like, I don't know, if you think that that's something that's going to win you like their favor or validation or whatever, it creates spread of shame. People don't want, like they don't want it. They don't want to receive in that way. People want to earn. They want to go through a process. That is the nature of mankind. So if we have overgiven, then we are feeling depleted and we feel resentful for overgiving. We feel resentful for self-abandoning and, always putting, everybody else's preferences before our own. And so that creates resentment. And then it creates resentment on the other side, right? Because there's this building tension, from both parties, from all angles, right? So if there is really examine your resentment this week. It's an opportunity as it's coming forward. So don't feel bad. Be like, oh, okay, the universe was setting me up to show me my resentment this week. So don't get in a downward spiral of feeling bad about yourself for being resentful and like, oh, I'm a shitty person. Like, don't do that. Just look at the resentment. Examine it, study it, and learn all you can about where it's coming from and why. Try not to get caught up in the drama, like the soap opera of what that resentment is telling you and that story and like going down like the motion of like the tape is on the loop. Don't go there, but observe that tape on the loop, right? Don't get involved emotionally with that story. Like, yeah, you know what? But just watch it. Watch it like you've watched this movie a million times. You're not emotionally invested. You're just watching it for something like picking out like clues and details. So the dissolution here is the melting away. It's the dissolving. And so we're dissolving these ego layers. And what we're dissolving is this resentment through emotional purging. This water, the water is what breaks down, drop by drop. A water can break down a stone over time, right? So water is associated with emotions, or emotions are associated with the element of water. And so like this card is talking about, letting yourself go into an emotional place to purify, to purge, to dissolve, mostly and namely to dissolve these aspects of the ego that are shells and veils that are hiding our light and hiding our joy and hiding our fulfillment. And this is the exact thing right now that is holding us back from our up level becoming apparent, right? This is the thing that's like slowing down our manifestations. This is the thing that might be blocking opportunities from coming in, right? Because it's messing with our vibration. We can, pretend and, put on a strong face, and we can, soldier on and bootstrap ourselves into a happy-go-lucky appearance. But you cannot hide your vibration. The vibrational universe only speaks and knows the truth. And so your vibration is like math, it's science. You can't change it or hide it. It just is what it is. So we can't resist this or it will persist. So lean in, get by yourself, and think about and lean into that resentment. And if you can feel it, feel it, let it purge. The more you feel the emotions and you give yourself permission to, the more they can move through you and out of you. Usually when we hang on to things forever, it's because we feel like there's a part of us that's like, you're not allowed to feel that way. And so you're always trying to justify to yourself why you're validated and justified in feeling that way, why you're righteous and feeling that way. And it's like, if you just give yourself permission to feel that way, usually like you get over it faster and you're like, well, I mean, I don't really need to wallow in this forever, I guess, just like let yourself feel it and it'll purge and move on. But the point, though, is that these layers are being dissolved. These aspects of the ego that we really want to let go of and we don't want to continue on in this perpetuation of the state, we're just letting it dissolve. Let the tears, let the emotions come, all of it. Just let it purge away. And if you feel like... So there's another thing here. It's like, we may feel a little bit alone or isolated right now or unsupported by the universe. We might be feeling like tunnel vision or like boxed in and like all alone. And you're like, why isn't anybody in my back? And I don't know what to do. And why is this feeling this way? And I'm resenting. And the universe is like, hey, calm down. You don't have to calm down, but just know like we're right here. We're right here. Everything's okay. You are just caught up in this kind of chaos right now. But if we stop and get centered and grounded, we will be able to see that all of this is divinely orchestrated, that the divine essence is here with us in this season, in this experience, in this moment, with whatever this issue is. And we're being guided and we're being protected, and we're always being guided and protected. And it's only ever up to us to just recalibrate and reconnect with it at any given moment. And as soon as we do, things are going to move forward really quickly. The Eight of Wands is positive, quick, like building momentum, fast forward movement, lots of busyness, but like good busyness, possibly even travel, lots of communication. So things are going to be moving forward, but it's all about doing this inner work right now. It's not even as much about like, as long as we're like staying to our routines and continue chipping away, but it's not even like you need to do some big outer action right now. It's the inner action that's going to make the biggest difference. It's that inner shift that's going to change everything. And we can keep trying to plant the seeds on the outside. But the thing is that if the inside, if our vibration, if our consciousness, if our heart and our soul and our mind and our strength and our willpower and our efforts aren't all aligned and on the same page, then we can try all day to make things happen, and they might start to, but they're gonna go off sideways, right? Something's gonna fizzle out or get in the way or whatever. So do the inner work first, and that sets you up with a foundation that's permanent, that you can start building upon, right? That's not gonna suddenly slip out from under you, because consciousness, it's like once you know something, you know it. It's embodied. That's another reason why we're having to go through these experiences again and again, because we have to practice the embodiment of this consciousness. And practice means it takes practice. Like it takes practice to embody this. It takes effort. It takes failing and getting up and trying again and again and again. So don't beat yourself up. This is a process. It takes a while to start really, making a new consciousness your new default setting, right? This is like we're trying to make this into our own positive, like curated subconscious pattern for the good. And so here we have lead, which is associated with Saturn and Capricorn here. And we've got iron. Now, lead is like the original density that we're given to transform. These are the ego layers we're trying to dissolve. These are our fears. These are insecurities. These are the things that we feel we need to evolve, transform, heal, change, transcend in this life. This lead, it's the work that we have to do. And we can resent the work, right? We can resent our incompleteness, right? And really though, this is the raw material that becomes gold in the lab of the alchemist. This is the whole reason for doing the work. This is the whole point of it all. So this is actually like raw commodity here. Like we were saying, like when your resentment is triggered this week, you're going to be like, oh, fuck, I don't want to deal with this. But maybe I should stop saying the F word. Maybe that would help me get up into the algorithms. I don't know, maybe. But then like you watch different content and it's like rap music or whatever. It's got like 1 million views. Yeah, Liz, it's because you're saying the F word. So yeah, no pun intended here, but don't feel heavy about your lead. It's a blessing. It doesn't feel like a blessing. It doesn't seem like a blessing, but the greatest darkness can be turned into the greatest light. The greater the darkness, the greater the light it can turn into. So basically right now we need to make friends with Saturn, with discipline, with structure, with determination, and with commitment, and follow through on these things. The more that we do, the more we are going to build this solid, ironclad infrastructure that we can keep building upon throughout our lives, enriching our fulfillment, enriching our goals and our dreams and our relationships, right? This is what we're building. And so, when we do this work, it creates strength in us, but also magnetism to attract that which we are trying to manifest, right? So even though we're like, I don't want to do this, it's actually the very thing that's going to get us everything that we want. It's going to give us strength. It's going to give us magnetism. It's going to give us this solid base to have this inner peace that then you can have, then you build fulfillment upon that. If you don't have inner peace, then there's no way that you can feel fulfilled, because you're going to be feeling anxious and uprooted and unsettled all the time. And so, as we're doing this work, as we're, seeing through our resentment and seeing why we're feeling resentful and feeling and understanding what we can do to change that, what we can do to prevent more resentment buildup in the future, and what we can do to alleviate and release the resentment that we currently have, right? But what do we need to start saying no to? What do we need to start saying yes to? Maybe that's just every now and then. Maybe we just need to manage our energy better and don't overcommit ourselves to people. But either way, it's going to be up to you to discern that for yourself. So as we do that though, this is the way to get what we want. The Ten of Pentacles is like the long-term happily ever after come into fruition. The Ten of Pentacles is building wealth and like long-term value and long-term happiness and legacy. This is like building a family that continues and grows and stays together. This is like building an empire or a brand or a company. This is like building, like writing a big, writing a book that's going to be, in circulation of humanity until it disappears into antiquity, right? So whatever we are going through right now, this is the initiation, this is the ticket, the window price what is it called? The ticket price on the window. You guys know what I'm talking about, on the car. This is the price, the sacrifice that is asked of us, that's going to open up the way for the miracle to come through, for our manifestation to start coming into fruition. And so not only are we going to start seeing like signs that what we've been trying to grow for so long is going to start coming into blossom, into being. We're going to start seeing signs of this, but we're going to start feeling really solid in ourselves as well. King of Pentacles has come up. This is the self-mastered character of the whole deck. It's like the character right under the Emperor. Like, the King of Pentacles has, you know, all of the other suits mastered, the emotions, the thought realms, the industry and drive and passion. And he's arrived at actually having his internal wealth manifest in external wealth and fulfillment as well. So that's where we're headed, and we're going to be attracting in experiences and characters that resonate with this, that resonate at wherever we're at, right? Like attracts like. So as we elevate, the experiences and people that we will resonate with will also be elevating at our level with us. But you know what that means too? The opponent always up levels as well. Every time we up level, the opponent is like right in our face. Hey, do you think you're going to have a minute to yourself? No, you're not. I'm going to be here to ruin everything all the time. Just anticipate me. So opponent, always going to be there, always going to try to like get in the way. But the more that we do the alchemy of turning our lead into gold, that is what gives us an edge over the opponent. That's what gives us more power than the opponent, right? You know, we talk so much about turning our lead into gold, and it's like we don't really talk about what's in it for us. What for what, right? It makes us powerful against the evil forces that are coming against us. It gives us power when we set our intentions and we want to manifest something for the day. It gives us power when, you know, there's things going on and we need favor. And guess what? A lot of people are pushing themselves to the front of the line, and everybody wants what we're all wanting, right? Conflicting interests. But guess what? The person with the highest vibration, who's been doing all the work, who's been doing the spiritual work, who has that sense of self-worth and deservingness, that's where the favor is going to go. That's where the magnetism is going to go. So if you want to be magnetic, if you want to have that favor, that divine favor, right? That edge, that little twinkle in your eye, like how does that person have this always working out for them, right? It's by doing the work. It's by offloading our resentment, offloading the heavy stuff that hides our light, that hides our magnetism. It's making the sacrifices. And the most powerful sacrifice we can make is our own ego, right? The most powerful sacrifices are the things that are most precious, that we don't want to give up. And oh my God, who wants to give up their ego? Who wants to give up their self-righteousness? Oh my gosh, the deliciousness of my justified attitude. I don't want to let this go. But if I do, then that is the most powerful energy that's released, that can be transferred and transformed and interjected into something else, something of the light, something that can create and bless and magnify and become more and abundant and good, as opposed to breaking down, rotting, stagnating. Like, ugh. There's something on the tip of my brain that I wanted to say. Maybe about doing the lead. I can't remember. All right, you guys, I'm tired and I've got to get up early in the morning. I've got a big day ahead of me. Yay. Can't wait. But yeah, I hope that we all get through this week. Embrace the process. The more that we can embrace alchemizing our lead into gold by forgiveness, facing our fears, breaking patterns, not doing that same thing again, just trying to break the pattern and doing something else, right? That releases, that turns to lead into gold as well. See, I'm so tired that I can't get my words out. It's like after 1 right now, I think. All right, we've said enough. I've said enough. All right, y'all. I will see you tomorrow or later on in the same day. I don't know. I don't know what time is. Where are we? Who are we? What are we? Leave me something in the comments, y'all. What's going on with you? Are you feeling resentful at anything? Have you been like all of a sudden like having to stop yourself this week from blowing up on anybody for any reason? I was feeling pretty crusty this morning. Or was it yesterday? I can't remember, the days running together, but I was just feeling like, oh, I've been running around in so many different directions and, spreading myself thin and overcommitting that I was just like feeling like exactly like this. I wanted to lash out. So I was glad that I was alone and that there was no one around that I was going to snap at. So I would have felt really bad. So yeah, that was what I was texting with someone. I was trying to text them in a neutral way so that they didn't feel my this. So I was hoping that the text was a good enough shield. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So as we, face fears and we break these ego layers down, it actually reveals what is called our inner light. And that is a protective force that actually creates not only a protective shield around us, but it also draws in blessings. So there are benefits to growing and changing and healing. Not only will you feel a greater sense of fulfillment in life, but if that's not enough, right? That's most of it. If half the people out there in the world keep consuming and keep grabbing at things and keep, attaining more and more and more, and they're never fulfilled. And they're like, why? I got my title, I got my promotion, I've got my paycheck, I've got all my gadgets and all my vehicles. Like, why am I not fulfilled? It's because it's really a feeling that comes from within. You've got to do the work to feel fulfilled, because you're going to be surrounded with all your stuff and you're still going to be angsty. You're still going to be dissatisfied. You're still going to be judgmental. You're still going to be too harsh on yourself. You're still going to have your feelings hurt too easily. Like, you know what I mean? You're still going to be impatient. You're still going to be all the things that we are that make us boiling inside all the time. It's like that's going to go with you when you are rich and famous and you have everything, all your wishes come true. So you have to be fulfilled first. The kingdom of heaven is within. It's only when we have that within that it begins to become evident without. Otherwise, like, we just have this static of chaos perpetuating from the inside chaos just around us all the time, like the Zoloft cloud kind of thing. All right, y'all. Well, I will see y'all later. Ciao.